On the third day of the January 6th hearings, it was uncovered that a small group of members of the Capitol mob, most of them probably Proud Boys, came within 40 feet of Vice President Mike Pence as he was being evacuated to a bunker. It was later reported, according to an FBI informant, one they were confident in that was a member of the Proud Boys, if they had gotten their hands on Mike Pence, they would have killed him. This distance between Mike Pence and men that said they would have killed him. What's up, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Politics, where I read 3 current event articles from media sources left, right, and center and give my thoughts on them. This is because people today tend to get their news from one media source. It's pretty annoying, and it makes you look stupid. Today is episode 3, part 2, and I'll be covering the third day of the January 6th hearings. Previously, I covered an article from Breitbart and an article from CNBC. Today, I'll be covering an article from NPR titled, Pence Prevented a Fall into Chaos, and 3 other takeaways from the January 6th hearing. Miss Mary Louise Kelly, how are we doing? This article starts off with a bit of dramatic writing, where it was reported that Pence was being hurried away by Secret Service agents and got within 40 feet of some of the crowds that had breached the Capitol. It was reported that Pence's Secret Service agents were trying to take him to a car to abandon the Capitol, but he commanded them to keep him on the Capitol so that he could finish the job of counting and approving the votes that would affirm the results of the presidential victory for Joe Biden. It was reported that these dramatic events were happening at the Capitol while Trump was safely tweeting from the White House. A tweet that Trump sent during this time was, quote, Pence didn't have the courage to do what should have been done. At this time, it was reported that he knew about the breach of the Capitol and his aides were begging him not to post this tweet. Anyways, the first point that this article took from the third day was that had Pence not rebuffed the pressure, the country would have been thrown into chaos. This writer from NPR feels that if Pence had overstepped his power and sent the election results back to the states for a recount, like Trump wanted, that this move would have significantly weakened American democracy and would have set a precedent for a situation where one person potentially has the power to determine the outcome of an entire democratic election. This article's second takeaway was that the pressure came from the top. This article largely states that Trump continuously tried to pressure Pence into not affirming the election results. Trump mentioned Pence 11 times in this speech given above before the mob at the Capitol on January 6th. Their third takeaway was that the pressure on Pence continued even after the riot. According to Pence's lawyer, Greg Jacob, Trump's lawyer, John Eastman, told Pence that, quote, because of your bitch ass, we are in this situation, in reference to the mob storming the Capitol. Their final takeaway was the committee began to lay out potential criminal liability for Eastman and possibly Trump. Many people have already been convicted of obstruction of justice and of obstructing an official proceeding because of their individual actions on January 6th. But the big question remains, will the DOJ criminally prosecute Donald Trump?